So first, I'm going to use my rounder side and I'm going to apply my contour. That is, for me, it's Ash, might be Astoria, and I'll just lightly grab some pigment on there, and then I'll start at my forehead. This is anywhere that we want to create shadows, and I'm not going super heavy. I'm going to watch my niece play baseball, or softball, but you can see how that kind of just creates more of a shadow. And then I will chisel out the cheekbones, right under the cheekbone. You can kind of find that. So see how those shadows are kind of coming in a little bit darker. And then I like to go down my nose. And then because I have a little bit of a shadow here, I just do the other half of my nose to kind of correct that so that my nose looks a little straighter. And then I like to go under my lip to create just a fuller lip. And then I'll do the jawline. So it's kind of like the 3 and the E, right? Sculpting out the face there. Okay, so that's the blunt side. And then with the more flatter side, I have a cream corrector. This is like a peach color that I like to use on my inner corners a little bit where I have some discoloration. So, kids are playing. Not sure if you can hear the little squeals, but it's very cute. And then my brightening shade is the lightest one. So I'll tap into that, and then again, kind of under the eye. Anywhere we want to bring light forward, things we want to slim down. So I'm going to go right down the center of my nose like that, maybe a little here. Okay, and you can see how bright that is compared to my normal skin tone. Then I'll just go right in, same brush, haven't changed anything, and then I'll go into my main foundation shade, which you can see is darker. And I'm just going to grab some of that. And this is much more like my exact skin tone. And I'll just kind of apply that liberally anywhere that I don't have pigment yet, okay? It does not have to be perfect because these are all gonna blend. Now I'm gonna grab my fluffy brush and I'm gonna start with the brightest colors. So I'm going to just kind of like lightly fluff under the eye. And I'm like very gently pressing. I'm gonna go up my nose, fluff this out. And then on the cheeks. Okay, forehead, anywhere I've got my light and main, I'm just blending those together. And then I'll kind of blend out my contour color. So I'm going to brush that into my hairline. And then up into the cheeks, just softly down the nose. And this makeup is just going to like, because it's cream, it's going to set in. And I'll bring this down to my jawline. It's going to set in and just like beautifully blend all together. So that's why you can go just real soft. And now I've got my main like 3D on. If you need a little more, you're like, oh gosh, I kind of missed a spot. Take the fluffy brush, dab into your main color, swirl it on. It's all the same formula, so you can like mix it together, mash it around. It's perfectly fine. Okay, so we've got that on. Now I go into blush and bronzer. So bronzer I like to kind of put on with my fingers so you can see where that's going. It's just kind of like warming up a little bit again. So a little cheekbones. When I'm doing like really minimalist makeup, I'll just pop some of that on my crease. And it's just a little bit of color right there. Okay, fluffy brush again. Just dab that bronzer just to like warm up the tone. And again, I'm going to bring that down into my neck as I'm blending around. Bring it down into my neck. And then I'm going to go with the denser side of my big fluffy brush, and I'm going to tap into my blush and just tap that on. Okay. And you can also tap that right on the cheeks. Sorry, lips. These are lips. And then the last is the Illuminator, which most, like in the makeup world, we call the highlighter. And that's just gonna add that like glowy, dewy look, right? So I go on the top of my cheekbone. We put like bronzer here, and then we're just gonna kind of cap it off with our Illuminator. I go inner corners of my eyes. And I'll just do one side of my face so we can see how that just really brings like luminosity, dewiness, glow. If the lighting will work with me. I put a little on the tip of my nose sometimes, and I also go in the Cupid's bow like that. And see how that just like brightens and lifts the eye, lifts the cheekbones, just adds all that dewiness. And I'll do that over here as well. Dab a little on the inner corners. And that's it. Full face. I'm gonna throw a little bit of brow gel and mascara on and call it a day.